E-gaming bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans. Play CSGO? Discover more than 5 various kinds of bets just for a single map. Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Getting tired of playing with the usual skins but don't have enough money to buy a new one? Get rich fast with csgofast.com. CS Go Fast. It's a strong chance of winning in every game. Several rooms with different game modes. Daily, more than 1,000 games, 5,000 players, and 25,000 skins at stake. You don't need much in order to sweep the board.
Hello and welcome to the Starladder I-League Star Series Season 2. We are back with some more quarterfinals. My name is TomBiz14. Joining me will be Flakes and, well, Spirit versus EnVyUS. Is it a mismatch?
On paper, certainly a mismatch. The one kind of scary factor for me is the fact that Envy, well, let's be realistic, they've been a bit distant at times. They've had a bit of, awkward scenarios with players like Devil not really having the greatest of times. But going back to the previous point, on paper, this should be a fairly easy matchup for them. It should be a smooth sailing 2-0. But the last time we said that, it wasn't at all.
Well, yeah, we've seen some sort of much closer battles. Yesterday we saw Flipside actually go out to a Dignitas team that didn't look particularly good, especially on their T sides. They were not up to scratch, but their CT sides were phenomenal. Now, well, we already know the map. I'm sure we can bring up that veto in just a moment, but I'm sort of really looking forward to this one because the maps have actually come out on not only the sort of expected ones, but exactly the map pool that Team Spirit would have wanted to play. Well,
this is the thing. Both of these teams, they mimic map pools. They both, relatively speaking, play the same maps. Mirage was a bit of a 50-51 for EnVyUS.
Well, you've ruined it now. We've got the whole.
Ruining everyone's fun out there. I think if you look up, if you go back to looking at past results and past matchups, you can pretty much work out the map pool would have either have been maybe a Dust 2 mix-in for the most part, expecting this map pool. I think it was pretty obvious
when we were talking about it before, we definitely said Cobble, we said Cash, and we did actually talk about Dust 2 as maybe the decider. I would have sort of swung towards maybe Cobble being picked by Team Spirit, but obviously it is sort of that #1 map. For Envy, Cash is always historically a map they've been very good at. The only one I am a little bit skeptical about is Mirage, but you pick the 3 best maps, or the 3 most played maps anyway, maybe not statistically the best for Team Spirit, as Dust 2, I think they're actually 8-2 as of recent, but you take the maps they play the most, these are the exact 3. There are no other maps I think they would have wanted to see. Maybe if somehow Overpass had got through, that would have been nice for them, because Envy just don't play it, but then neither did the Team Spirit, so it would have had to be a go-to. We saw the nuke ban. I just think that was because EnVyUS just didn't even want that sort of risk factor in the pool, which is normally what you see from the team with the better map pool in general. The better team should be banning out nuke at this stage, unless, of course, they have something on it, like we see sometimes SK, G2 throw it into the mix a little bit. But definitely looking to see whether or not they'll be as dominant as they should be going into this one. And starting off on what at the moment seems to be their best map, Cobblestone, I don't think it's going to be easy, but I think they should definitely take it.
For sure. One of the interesting factors for me encompassing this entire map pool is something that EnVyUS actually come out really recently and said that we're going to play much more looser, much more freestyle, less pressure on the IGL, less calls coming in, and more just back to the previous way we've seen them in the past. Is there anything we can really look into that at all? Is that going to play into Spirit's favour?
Well, in terms of like the way that they used to play, I feel like it was definitely the style that worked for them, especially the happy style of in-game leading. So we may see him go back to that sort of thing. You can see the in-game odds at the moment, they definitely favour the EnVyUS side. No real surprises by that whatsoever. But definitely some more skeptical bettors. I think if we'd seen this, say, a few months ago, maybe more, we definitely would have seen that in heftier positions. Obviously, we are going to be looking towards Devil. He has been a little bit underwhelming in this lineup so far, but a lot of the time you have to talk about the idea that is it just like it can't just be blamed on one player. We know that everybody else in this lineup at some point has been under the name of a superstar. Like there are clips of say, well, there are many in-game leaders who have clips of them getting 5 deagle headshots through smoke. That's just a sort of point to be made. There's not many players who can have those sort of clips that we see from Happy. Either way, we are going to be going into this one. It is going to be the nades onto Sophic, and on the other side we have utility on Devil, with the rest of the players just going for some armor.
Spirits open things up, are playing fairly standard. They're going for a quick aggressive drop push. It will work out in their favour. Coldie going to find one. MBK trading things straight back, just tap it away. He finds 2 frags respectively, just doing the work for his team. But now Davkos, he wants to trade things straight back into their favour. They will go for the cross. The smoke will go down in a perfect position. But it will be Davkos still just searching for something with this block. But unfortunately, those bullets, they are not finding anything yet. Apex now going to be going for the quick aggressive push, trying to connect these shots, but still nothing quite working out until finally Davkos, he's going to find one. Kenny is back on the trade, takes down Tony, but backwards and forwards we will swing because Davkos, he's trying to claw this one straight back into their favour, but he's the only one doing the work, and eventually he will fall. Sophic just unable to have really much of an impact at all. And he's unfortunately, without Davkos going huge, it seemed that round was destined to fail, and it will do just that.
Yeah, nice pistol round coming out from MBK, especially holding over towards drop down. Definitely a player I think you need to highlight over on this map, excluding the more obvious Kenny SAWP, which will be something of a factor on this CT side. But definitely MBK over towards drop, sometimes plays it with that shotgun roll, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see that again today, but definitely looking forward to the way they actually play this position. And more interestingly for me at this stage, we do actually have the Force Spike coming in round 2. Not going to wait for those AKs in the next, they're going straight for the Tech 9s. And while I wouldn't be surprised if in this scenario MBK was tested over towards that drop-down position.
I think the mentality question for Spirit is they don't want to let EnVyUS get going. They don't want them to build up a couple of rounds and start to build up a lead. They want to shut them down before they even begin to run. That's going to be the key factor. Of course, we are looking to see if MBK will get tested. He's actually playing much more detached from drop zone, out towards the back of rock, towards second room, which means that he should actually be alright in terms of a quick aggressive push. And when that push, well, it's rolling straight out towards block, it will be Kenny spamming away with the pistol. Nothing quite going to connect just yet. Looking to have a bit of an impact. Demo will take him down, using the close range of the Tech 9 to his advantage. You can hear those shots just rattling away, but Sophic, he will find one. MBK and Apex starting to do the work. The Team Spirit, they're making this round stick. Frag coming in all across the board. It's going to be a 3 versus 1, the pressure mounting on Happy's shoulders. He's got a UMP in hand, a flash grenade, and a HE. He does have the head armor, but he's still in a 1 versus 3.
Yeah, this is going to be a very difficult position. If he can find the first onto Dima, it's opening up with much more of a chance. The nade should actually do the damage, but doesn't quite reach. And, well, now things are just starting to buy him out of time. He doesn't have himself a kit. Does have to look to try and get himself back onto the side. We have to remember both players now have rifles, so we have to get very close and personal in order for this one to work. Doesn't look like there's too much time to be played, and Davkos will end his life, evening things up with the 1v1, and, well, Team Spirit bringing things back.
The aggression really caught EnVyUS off guard. The player that was first to meet, he was just there rattling away shots with his pistol. Unfortunately for Kenny, he might be this renowned player, legendary at times, but with just a pistol when you're trying to hold off this aggressive push, it's not the tool you need. Spirit, well, we said they've made it stick. Now they're going to be bearing the rewards. They've got the rifles in play. Very much a mixed bag. They've got the 2 SMGs on board as well. But we can't actually see anything. So this is a tad awkward. All we can do is here. I think
no, there we go.
Slowly kicking back into things. But I'll let you take it away, Tom, because you have a screen.
Yeah, we're going to be back into this one. Just the Deegs on the hands of the CT side at the moment, and we are just looking for what they can do. Apex tapping away, doing a little bit of damage. Will find the first with a headshot. Bringing things slightly back into contention, but aggressive push, not going to pay off from Sophic. He will lose his life, and already the rotation comes in. Kenny grabs one more. Only 2 players alive, and these Deagles are definitely doing the damage at this stage, leaving just 2 remaining.
Time is going to be ticking down. They are going to be trying to claw something back out of this round. They've got a famous other rifle in play. The M4 looking to do some wonders. Davkos is going to be just firing off a couple of shots. Nothing quite going to work out for him just yet until eventually Devil will take him down. Kenny has soon to follow with a nice shot straight to the cranium of Coldie. Means that EnVyUS, they will bring it back into their favour. 2-1 on the board. Team Spirit, they might have made an aggressive round stick. When they tried to fall back to that passive style of play, it just didn't work out.
Yeah, you don't outforce EnVyUS. You just don't outforce EnVyUS. It doesn't happen. They've shown exactly why they have been renowned for these force buys across the board. And, well, they are going to go back in once again. AKs on, or AK onto Davkos. Actually, the same amount of AKs on the other side of things in the hands of Kenny. And, well, going to be holding that position without a pistol this time, so looking a little bit safer in this round. Of course, still a couple of pistols to play with, so still a chance for Team Spirit to bring this one back, and they are going to fall back to that B site strategy which worked so nicely in the previous round. Nades will be thrown out, Coldie's going to go aggressive, and here comes Dima, the first one in. Got to try and connect something, already going to be finding one. MBK will manage to trade it back, but it's going to be quick trades across the board. Kenny going to have to do the damage, and again it's going to be an advantage with Happy the last man rotating in.
Seemingly EnVyUS being crushed. Happy he might have an M4 in play, but he's in a 1 versus 2. The one opportunity he's got, take down Sopvik. Now even he's gained himself a rifle. The HU Gun will try and connect. Nothing quite going to be dished out just yet. He will go for the spray down, finds the first, takes down Davkost. So we're back in a 1 versus 1. The bomb will go down, so that's going to be ticking away. The dream saver for Happy, he has a kit in play, so that's going to be ideal. Does have that pistol to help him back up, but he's going to be creeping up with his rifle, looking for this frag. But he has no information on where Sopvik is. The time going to be ticking down, just lurking around these halls. The shots will rattle away. Sopvik will be the man to find the frag, and Spirit, well, they've now brought it back into their favour. Backwards and forwards, we will swing, because we're at a 2-2 scoreline.
Yeah, there is the potential for a buy to come back in for the CT side, but a little bit more than they had previously. Could even just go for that same Deagle buy and try to make it work with the lesser risk. Of course, we have lost a player from the server, so this will give us a little bit more time to actually look at what we can actually bring into this next round. I do think that there's going to be a much better buy on that T side, but I am just going to be looking at what the CTs actually opt to go for. Already we see 3 Deagles on the board. I'm not overly surprised by that. The fact is they can definitely afford that and come in with the buy next round with the added factor of they've already made this work once. The only real problem is this time Team Spirit, they're not going to have the sort of, a couple of rifles. I'm hoping they will just go for a much safer buy, take away those risks and play it as a much more standard and slow round, more methodical, not just sort of running in and risking everything like they sort of did on that A site when they were able to be picked apart individually by Deagles. So either way, not looking like such a hefty buy. I'm not even sure if the two players with sort of less money on the board will even buy up, although MBK still with 3,500, definitely the potential behind that one. And well, it looks like no matter what happens, there should be some sort of buy coming in the next round. May have to be a glass cannon or, but let's see. There we go. Final pistols, all board up. 4 rifles on the board for Team Spirit, and just 1 MAC-10 this time.
We're looking for that distant, far back play, the slow style from Spirit. At times, we've seen them struggle with it in the past. Will they be able to make it work this time around? With that 2-2 scoreline, looking at one team trying to pull ahead. Already Spirit, they're making sure they're very much holding towards the top of boost. You can see that boost actually rolling in. Make sure they just check that one out. Dima going to be lurking over towards B platform, seeing if anything will come his way. Do you see the peek coming in from MBK and Kenny? The flash will pop. I mean, they aren't quite going to go for the overface just yet. The Deagle's not ideal when blind. But now the time is going to be ticking away. Team Spirit just gathering up to go towards that A site. We've got them on a very much bulked up group, so they're clear to be going for this aggressive path. There is no slow style here. Apex going to be the man to try and hold this one off from long. Just spamming away with the Deagle. It's not quite connecting until there. Finally, the last shot will hit. Takes down Davkost. Gets the quick reload in. Now it's going to be Happy. The pressure mounting on his shoulders. Thankfully, EnVyUS, they're coming in with the quick rotate. The pistol's just going to walk right past one player. Dima will find one. Takes down Devil. Looking for a couple more shots. MBK finally going to land one. Dima going to find another. Takes down MBK in return. The tray's just rolling in across the board. But it's swinging well and truly in Spirit's favour.
Not looking too good at this stage, especially with Happy missing enough shots and just completely giving away his position. So it will stick. Still a damaging round coming in, and this is where we see that buy come in onto the board. Apex going to be picking up a Mag-7, so definitely not going to be the ideal position. But Kenny does have his AWP plus Kevlar, so it's not the worst case scenario. MBK even going to pick up a second shotgun and 3 SMGs on that T side. I wonder if they thought that was more of an eco buy, because from what they've actually bought back up in return, it seems that they now think that they've won that economic battle and can make themselves a little bit of money. But as we can see from our side of things, they're a little bit off on that one.
They're really just, for me, nowhere near correct. We do see the 2 Mag-7s in play on EnVyUS, but shotguns on the CT side, it's kind of the one map that we've seen it known to work. Kenny SC will miss the opening shot, which will allow Dima to find a frag, but now there we go. Kenny will find one, MBK to find another with shotgun. Davkost will come quick on his heels with a trade frag respectively, but even then it's going to be a 3 versus 3. I'm hoping to see a bit of an upgrade coming in from those shotguns. We still to see an SMG on play in MBK, Mag-7 in the hands of Apex. Spirit are looking very strong. Dima going to find another frag, just going through the shot straight through. Happy will find one through the door, so that's going to be ideal. But now the Mag-10, the pressure well and truly going to be on because he needs to find something. But what can he even do here? The Molotov will land, just burning Tony out of position. That means the frag will roll into his palms. But even then, Davkost is there with the AWP, finds one. Now it's going to be this 1 versus 1 scenario. Happy just going to be pushing around block, trying to play the close angle. If he can catch him off guard, then it'll work out in his favour. He will do just that, but he misses the shots. But eventually, the second repeat will work out in his favour. But he has the 10-second defuse.
Yeah, just about should make this one stick. It's going to come right down to the wire. Actually goes off. I thought he had that one. That was much closer than expected. I think even he considered that one to be done. Otherwise, we would have seen him run away and keep that M4. Unfortunately, that means that just about enough was done by Davkost. Was able to pick up that AWP and do some extra damage in his hands. And, well, just about stayed alive long enough. And that's the sort of problematic scenario of not having that full buy on the CT side. Wasn't able to collect the kit. And that's going to leave them back in a problematic scenario. Either way, Pistols yet again, not expecting too much this time from the EnVyUS side, but wouldn't completely underestimate them in this round.
Underestimate indeed. We've seen these pistols do work in the past. The SMGs are going to be looking to make some money on the Spirit side of things. You'd certainly look at this on paper and go, EnVyUS, they are on the back foot. We're already seeing the Deagle try and do something. It will be Davkos to open things up with the first strike, doing the damage to the Mach 10, making himself some sweet, sweet money. Devil, he's the anchor towards site. Happy first to be fallen. It looks like it's all falling apart, these pistols. Well, the answer is going to be not today. Seems Spirit are playing this one very, very safe. And really just forcing EnVyUS out of this map.
Yeah, this leaves just 2 players behind. MBK does have a little bit of armor to try and save, and it may be valuable for them coming into the next round. We'll take 1 player with him, but slowly running out of ammo, and that's going to be an extra bit of money made. Davkos doing the same, 3 kills with the SMG is going to be very valuable for his team. But now we see the first 4-buy versus 4-buy, depending on whether or not we will see the force up from the remaining players with their SMGs. I'd say keeping these in play does have its risks, but at the same time they have that bonus round scenario where if things don't work out, they can just try and reset the economy on the other side. Now we finally see an AWP on both sides with Davkos and Kenny S actually looking into this one with the AWPs, but it is still just going to be a couple of SMGs on that Team Spirit side and a big round coming out for the CTs. They need to try and make this one stick.
As much as I'm not a fan of the SMGs in this sort of scenario, I like the confidence. It means that they aren't going into this one thinking, EnVyUS, yes, they're a renowned, legendary team with their own marks aside. So confidence is there. That's going to be good. If they can keep this one going throughout this entire game without really faulting, then I don't want to take this one off their hands in terms of them pulling away. They have the 3-round lead now, looking to take that one step further. But it comes down to can they find the frag. Steamer going to be the first man to just go for a bit of a shoulder peek, seeing if anything will come his way towards B platform. EnVyUS, they are kind of hunkering down this time around, not going for any overfaces, not going for any aggressive pushes, even any info plays. They're just waiting for that push to walk right into their crosshairs.
And now we're looking at this build-up play. Happy in a decent position, but a lot of nades being thrown out to try and force them back out of positions. And BK will throw some counter nades, but it is going to be Kenny to find the first defending. Devil finding a second as well. This is already looking like a bit of an isolated push now with the remaining 2 players coming in. Bit of a miss spray comes out from MBK, but apart from that, a very nice round, a consistent round. And Kenny picking up 3 is a great start to his round with the AWP.
He might have missed a couple of shots in the past, but he's stepping up when it counts. And that's going to be the most important factor. If they can get that AWP play just being an anchor over towards B site, you can do so many huge plays from Chicken, just re-peeking after re-peeking, finding those frags. And you can do the same thing as well over towards block, but it's a little bit more risky because you can be overwhelmed from drop zone. Of course, they have got the money in play this time around. They haven't quite broken Spirit just yet. They've still got 4 rifles on the board. They've actually got a better buy on paper than what they had in the last round.
Yeah, it does depend on the sort of avenue you look at MBK, whether he's chosen this one as an economic position or just trying to do what he can with this Mag 7. Definitely another player along with JW who does actually really enjoy this weapon, so I'm not overly worried about that being in position. I think it could just be because he wanted more utility, and in terms of the rifle he was a little bit isolated and had to be defended, in fact, by the AWP of Kenny, who did a great job actually, because Devil's position is one that takes a lot of risk behind it. He has now gone slightly more further forward, slightly more aggressive over towards the plat position and hiding behind the wall in order to give himself a sort of sneaky angle. Minute left on the clock, still waiting to see what Team Spirit actually have to offer in this round, and it does seem like the build-up is edging its way over towards that B site, but as we can say, there's still 50 seconds left on the clock. There's no real reason to dedicate themselves too much at this point. I am intrigued by the fact that most teams will only play 1 player over towards A. EnVy have opted to go for 2 in the form of Apex and Happy. But, well, that clearly shows their reliance on this AWP, which should have its moment in just a second.
Lying in wait, he will find the first shot, takes down Davkos, a beautiful shot to roll in, but he needs to do just a little bit more. He can find this second shot straight through the flash, connects it, takes down Suffolk, looking for one more. He's being pushed up nice and close, which means there is potential to find a frag, but he'll spot him out, misses the shot, gets taken down by Colby, and Dima, he's just popping off, he finds one for himself, trying to find himself another frag. Not quite going to work out just yet. Kabakan actually going to be the man to up the ante this time around, but now it's all going to be unhappy. A 1 versus 2, trying to deny the fast-paced bomb plant, doesn't quite spot him out, gets punished, and Dima will take him down. And, well, to kick things off there, I have to ask, how did Happy not spot him?
Yeah, a bit of a problematic scenario. The one thing you have to say is when a bomb's going down, it is the smarter decision normally to go for the player not planting the bomb. But it was, of course, the timer ticking away, the adrenaline, and also the fact that if he did stop that bomb plant, the round was in his favor as long as he could escape. So it may have gone for the better decision in his eyes. Of course, we do have to talk about this map, and in terms of the sides, if they can get 5 or 6 rounds, I wouldn't be too worried for the EnVyUS side of things. Of course, in this round, they are going to be back in somewhat of an eco scenario with just their deagles, but we know what these guys can do when they have these deagles in position. MBK are going to opt for a P250 because it's not really deagle realm to hold over when somebody's going to jump down onto you. And on the other side of things, everything's fine and dandy. They've got plenty of utility, a lot of weaponry in their hands, and of course the trusty AWP onto Davkos. And very interested to see, well, not so much on this map, but maybe the next map, the actual AWP battles that will come in, because I don't feel like in any sense that the AWP battle really comes into play on this one, as most of the time the CT player should always have the advantage with the peek, because you directly have to peek into angles if you're on that T side. The only other time would be on sort of retake scenarios where it completely flips. But again, minute left on the clock. They've gone for the same sort of strategy in quite a few rounds now, where they leave the CT side to stew until the minute mark, and then they start their presence onto this B side. Dima can open things up again, and everything looking pretty clean and dandy at this point.
Just a set of explosive frags rolling on the side of Spirit. They find themselves a third. It feels like these pistols are just going to be isolated. Davkos going to be looking towards drop zone, trying to deny MBK any presence at all. The shot's just going to be forcing him out into an open angle. Coldy going to be the man to punish him. And he's just happy all alone. He might have a deagle on hand, he might have armor, but you have to look at this one and just go, well, your hope certainly isn't there. He could even go for a save, or he could just bide his time, maybe see if an exit frag will come his way. That's always on the cards. But Spirit, they should know where he is, which is why we can see him just prompting for that exit over towards B platform, putting a lot of pressure over towards that portion of the map, which means for Happy, unfortunately, no one will come his way. He will get the save in hand. That means he's going to be taking a deagle, a HE grenade, and some armor going into that round. But even then, he was maybe hoping for just a little bit of an exit frag, maybe looking for the AWP player. It just hasn't worked out in his favor.
Yeah, I think most importantly there, he keeps the armor, because that's just going to allow him to get extra nades into the next round along with the M4 that he'll be buying. So as you can see, he is going to have the ideal 4-buy with everything he would possibly need. Kenny not going to be able to afford another AWP, and MBK will be opting for that Mag 7. We see him and Get Right play around the same sort of angles. A lot of players, in fact, using that Mag 7. So again, not too worried about that just yet, but still lacking in utility somewhat. And the more that we see this sort of continue, the more worrying it will get, because although sure they can do the work on the T side, you don't want to give Team Spirit too much of an avenue. At the moment they're not in too much of a troublesome situation, but let's see how this round actually plays out. Again, they're going to speed things up this time over towards that B site, throwing out their smoke, one over towards the rock, and just using their utility very well at the moment in order to get out onto these sites. Kenny going to be boosted up, but he's not going to see anything as Dima takes his head clean off. Very good on the entry so far. Davkos going to make this one more and add insult to injury. But here come nothing. I thought that would be a trade. Davkos too quick on the trigger, and wow, look at Happy. He's doing his best, trying to bring this one back into contention, sneaking around the smokes is where he normally resides. Apex, he will be ended, and this just leaves Happy once again in the clutch.
Seems a player to be always found in this situation, but in the same old narrative, it's not going to work out. Spirit, they're leaning towards this B site practically every single round, but they're making it work. EnVyUS, they don't appear to be able to stop things just yet. And I have to ask, when will they finally drop the gauntlet? Because on paper, EnVyUS should have the raw skill alone to be able to overpower Spirit. Not quite reflecting of that just yet.
Well, yeah, their B-site hold just isn't working for them at the moment, and you can see that Team Spirit are very happy to isolate that fact. And the really enjoyable thing for me is that Dima will go and make those sort of entry kill presence known. Like, he'll run onto the site, do exactly what is necessary, and then you sort of look towards Davkos, who just resides on the plat. Very nice shot there for MBK. But he'll reside on plat and basically just end the lives of anybody who tries to attack Dima, making them just a perfect duo for taking over B. In this round, yeah, we've seen Dima go down, but he was just playing as an individual player. Kabakam will manage to trade out a couple of those frags, and, well, Sopvik, he's just trying to make as much money as possible, and, well, the long-range pistol definitely not going to work out so well for Happy, and leaves Devil in a scenario where he doesn't really know where the bomb is going, but he can definitely guess that it's probably going towards A.
I think he might just be going for the old faithful option, heading towards B. He does have the armor in place, so maybe going to be going for another bit of a save. An exit frag certainly is on the cards when you take a look at the positioning of one player. It's going to be back and just walking up towards B platform. The bomb going to be ticking away. Devil would have heard that one out. I think he has a bit of an inkling that someone is going to head towards drop, so he will be just holding this angle, playing the patience game. But at that point, well, he knows they are running for the hills, which means he's going to take this armor into the next round. Nothing for him to really find at all. He's going to be going to play that hermit strategy. Maybe a gun will present itself, picks himself up a flashbang, so it's going to be something. But But overall, that clock will just tick down, the bomb soon to go off. It'll be a nice open and shut round for Spirit.
Yeah, no, this is, well, I think the smart thing there was he was looking for that rifle that was dropped earlier, but Team Spirit have actually thrown that out of the map. They went back, we saw come back and take the 2 frags, and then they got rid of that rifle, so there was no real chance of him to save it. So really clever stuff coming out from the CIS team. They knew what would be coming, so they made sure that it didn't happen, which is very, very clever. Looking onto that economy, we are now going to see the AWP back on Kenny, but it is again going to be Glass Cannon, and, well, really looking to see him step up, because a lot of the time the pressure does reside on the AWP player. Devil, again, not really having too much of an impact, and Happy, well, considering he's always playing over onto that A site, he hasn't really had much to do. It's always been retake scenarios where he's actually tried to make his impact, so really looking at the rest of the team to step up. Kenny has been better with the AWP, it has to be said, but at the same time, not being able to keep that too often and their economy not allowing for it has really been the big problem on their CT side so far. Other than that, they've had lackluster utility all the way across the board, and that's something that Team Spirit have utilized quite effectively by just smoking off the whole site, throwing Molotovs into key positions, and then just sending Dima in as a suicide mission to take down as many players as he can.
It feels like the team play from EnVyUS has also been just a little bit rough, not quite there at times. Maybe we'll see that change in this round. It is going to be that 13th round. 9 rounds on the board for Spirit, just 3 for EnVyUS. But they are on that CT side that has a small chunk of impact. But even then, we're still looking to maybe see them get 5 or even 6 rounds. But I feel like even that slightly hopeful at this point.
Yeah, but now we are slowly seeing a build-up. It is coming down to that sort of 45-second mark, so the A site is going to be where the hit resides. We did see one Deagle round work out very nicely for the EnVyUS side, one of the only rounds they've actually managed to concede. But again, there's going to be Dima starting things off with a headshot. Apex, the only player on this site now, going to try and make this work, but Dima's just on fire at this point. He's going to add a 3rd to his list, may get caught reloading, but even then he's still finding more. This is the quad kill, not quite going to get the ace, as Devil will end his life, but I don't think it's long for the cards for him. All he's going to be able to do is more damage. He finds a triple though, saving the AWP could be more valuable than he possibly knows, and just going to try and run away with this one. It's nice to see him get some frags on the board, but unfortunately all it's really done is a little bit of extra damage as the 10th round for Team Spirit will come in. Now we're going to a point where, well, they will at least, actually, they won't even save the AWP, so for Team Spirit this is even better. But at the same time, we're looking at what will come in. Will it be a 12-3? Will it be 10-5? 2 very different score lines. But now we're looking at what EnVyUS are going to do. Are they going to buy?
It's a bit of a rough decision, whatever they seem to do. Well, they're going to be putting a little bit of investment in this round. It will be the shotguns already rolling on the board. Looking like they're just going to be balancing out their money, which I'd say is a smart call. Just get it nice and comfortably balanced out. See if you can maybe have a bit of an impact and get yourself the best possible buy you can going into that 15th round. One thing I do want to talk about, almost an ode for Dima, is the fact that his explosive strategy to go into this game, just being this one-man army, just pushing to sites, seeing whether he can find himself a pick, it's working out in huge ways, and he's the one player that, well, potentially could be securing Spirit a map very soon if EnVyUS don't start to step up to the plate. Okay, just going to be rounding up a couple of shots with the Eagle, seeing if anything will come his way. Unfortunately, there will be, 1 Deeks this time around.
It's been massive so far. Dima looking to start things off again. Is facing off against the Deagle of MBK, who's going to be trying to tap this one away. Devil has been switched over to that drop-down position with his Mag 7 in hand, and it does look like we're building up back towards that sort of A-site play once again. Not really seeing too much resistance at this point from the remaining players on this site. Of course, we do have Happy with a 5-7, has to try and play closer range angles, and Apex isn't exactly going to be taking long shots with this mag, but at the same time, the push already, we're going to see Dima opening things up yet again. Looks like the initial frags or entry frags are definitely going to be in his department for this map. Happy going to try and hold a close angle, maybe able to grab a kill. There's an AK at his feet as well, which could allow for something a little bit more. But of course, Dima's going to be there to end his life. Davkos is holding, combining, and this leaves just MBK, who's going to get headshot through the door.
A good round coming out from Spirit. This is going to be the real test for them, because EnVyUS, we saw them kind of very much hedge their bets on this round. This is them putting everything they've got, all of their must into this round, and they are going to be looking for an 11-4 half. That's not at all what we were hoping to see, but it, for me, is something they can work with on their T-side. But they also still need this round. That's going to be the huge factor. We've seen an unstoppable T-side coming out from Spirit. Dima just being a man that's, well, he's just walking into sites and finding himself a 2k or a 3k, or at times even a 4k, just playing for the ace. And now can he do it just one last time for the T-side? We'll be seeing Devil just throw down the defensive smokes. EnVyUS already playing this one somewhat differently. They've got 4 players over towards B this time around, so definitely relying on holding off their site. I'm not sure it can still be enough.
Yeah, really big performance coming out across the board for the Team Spirit side. Dima definitely has been leading that way, especially with how impactful a lot of his frags have been. Kenny is back on the AWP this time and actually has some armor to play with as well, which is definitely nice for his round at least. We are going to see what may actually be one of the only 2 or 3 4-buys we've actually had on that EnVyUS side of things, as they have been trying to buy back up, but most of the time it hasn't been with full utility. We are going to see that push coming in now onto the A side. Apex going to be the only man standing here, as the rotation will now come in from Happy. At least he found a trade. Happy's going to try and play the sneaky role, play a little bit closer, try and catch somebody out, but Dima is going to be the one pushing through. Actually flashes himself, gives away the kill to Happy as he continues to push. But in the meantime, look at the position of Kabak, and he's gone all the way onto B, finding so much information out. Only one player even close. It's going to be MBK. He's going to have his life ended, and now the bomb almost has a freeway to go and plant.
I don't think Spirit are quite clocked onto that fact just yet. They're playing nervous. Kenny is going to be lurking around the corner. He will spot the AWP barrel of Davkos, takes him down, going for the repeat. He could just hold Kabak in here. If he just holds this angle, it practically locks them out of the round. And now the shots are out of the way. It actually will be Devil to find the frag. And leaves just Colby now 1 versus 3. He's going to be firing off a couple of shots, finds the first frag, looking for just one more to bring this back to a 1 versus 1. But Happy is going to be there to do the damage with the rifle, takes him down, and at 11-4 they needed, it has been secured.
Yeah, this is sort of the minimum we talk about when we're going onto that CT side. Even when we talk about teams like Na'Vi, who are phenomenal at that T side, we say, you know what, they get 4 rounds, they can still pull this off. But we're not confident at that point. We're still saying they can still pull it off. We're looking at a Team EnVyUS side who hasn't looked confident at all, and they're just going to try and bring this one back on the T side. They definitely have the players to do it. Apex, for me, is going to be the highlighted player. He is always that entry fragger. We've already seen the entry fragger for Team Spirit, not Team Secret, going absolutely ham, and definitely going to be looking to see whether or not Apex can do the same things. But first things first, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We have to look towards this pistol round.
This pistol round is going to be huge, because it could be this kick-starting element to EnVyUS to land to claw his way back into this game. If they can take that nice 3-round sweep that, on paper, you can usually find yourself taking, that will be the boon. Do find this one just not being as clear-cut as expected. We do see a couple of shots already just going to be popping off Apex, just spamming away. They do knock Davkos down to just a measly 9 HP, so nowhere near how he wanted to kick things off. But that will prompt a bit of movement from Spirit. They're actually going to leave still 3 over towards B, stuck over towards Connector, so the rotate might be a little bit quicker. But even then, now 3 players just lined up on A. You can see a couple of shots. If maybe anything will come his way, it's not going to be doing that just yet. EnVyUS now going to be going for the quick pace rotate, just toying with the minds of Spirit, trying to go for this almost puppet-like play. But will it pay off in their favour?
Yeah, looking at this push already, we've seen a lot of damage done, but no real frags coming in. Apex is playing this sort of lurk role at the moment, and I'm really looking to see what he'll be able to do on the flank. Needs to either sell this fake or just try and catch out the players on the rotate, and he is doing just that. He finds one. MBK opens back up. Either way at this time, he's trying to hold back Kabak, and Coldy tapping away, doing work. It's going to be even more coming out from Coldy over in the corner. He's found 3 kills. He's brought this all the way back, and now MBK's got to try and fight from all directions. That's a nice shot, though. Finds one more. Needs to take down Coldy, because while he's behind him, there's nothing he can hope to achieve in this round, and he's going to be looking. He will grab that kill as well. Only 1 left. It's down to Sophic, and MBK with the clutch gets 4 frags in the round and wins a 1v3 while surrounded. What a player.
A huge play, maybe even an understatement of a way to describe that. Just putting in the work for his team, the one-man army on this pissed round, which will secure them a round that they desperately needed. Because we were looking at that one going, well, Spirit, they've just crushed them. Now they can storm ahead, just try and secure these next couple of rounds. And it would have led to what would have been a very one-sided map. But EnVyUS, they now have a bit of a catalyst to play with. They've got 1 rifle on the board, 4 MAC-10s, looking to make themselves some bank off the back of that. But then Spirit, they're also not looking to let this one just swing on by. They've gone for the force-up. The pistols and CZs, they're going to be well and truly in play. So now it comes down to strategy. Spirit, they don't want to be over-facing these longer angles. That's where EnVyUS will have the advantage. They want to play it up close and personal. They have to have this surprise factor, because if you allow MAC-10 just to push on right into your face and just unload a bunch of shots, it's not going to end too well for you, even with a pistol.
Yeah, here comes that aggressive push though. Dima will be finding one. Devil quickly trading things out. Picks back up the AK that was onto MBK, and they're just going to continue their push back forward. Sophic going to grab one more. Already this is looking pretty bleak, because they've lost a load of players. Now it's just going to be Devil. He's in a 1 versus 3. Will grab the first, but again, it's going to be the same situation where backwards and forwards rounds, but a free AK over onto that Team Spirit side of things, and although the last round should have gone their way, this is going to hurt just as bad, taking this one away from EnVyUS.
This is a sting in the side of this French lineup. They are left just wondering, what's going on? Why are we even losing these follow-up rounds? Something in their style of play, in the way they're composing themselves, it clearly is wrong. But now I'm going to be looking to see if they can maybe have a bit more of an impact towards the later end of this game. But they just don't want to let Spirit run away with things. They have 12 rounds on the board. They should be getting 13 unless these pistols can go huge for EnVyUS in this kind of force-up war. But even then, I'm starting to lose just a little bit of faith in this French lineup.
Yeah, Davkost is hiding in behind at the moment. The AK from Quebec and only going to grab one, but here goes Davkost. So much damage, but doesn't actually find all the frags necessary. Devil has managed to grab back up the AK, and Apex doing the damage across the board. It looks like we may be seeing the flip side of things as they're going to bring this straight back. Just Dima left. He does have the HP advantage over the two players currently remaining, but look at the positions they're holding. Very, very smart. The only problem is the bomb is actually the one holding the angle, where realistically you'd want the other. Almost dunks down Devil, and this is going to leave things very, very close. Has to be careful. Going to take half his HP loss just of getting stuck there, and Apex will actually finish him off as he tries to push through the smoke. So EnVy bounce back. They may be back on the board here, but it is going to be another force buy on the Team Spirit side of things. And realistically, it's still a 6-round lead for the Russians.
EnVyUS, they do have that economical advantage now. They've finally kind of hampered Spirit. They are left with just a scout, a handful of pistols, and an M4 in play. But this back and forth round scenario, I don't think it is over just yet. The clock going to be ticking down. MBK will be the man to kick things off. Punishes Davkost. They're going for the face towards door. Devil looking for one of his own. Nothing quite going to go for that face just yet. I think Spirit have learned their lesson, going back to this passive angle-based play. But EnVyUS, they still have a long road ahead of them, and well, they might be this giant-like team, still just a little nervous. MBK going to be just dropping a couple of flashes at Eagles, going to be allowed to face completely open. Coldy, they're going to need a man to find a frag. Well, they've brought it back to a 4 versus 4.
Yeah, this is starting to look like a name without much substance behind it at this point. EnVy really not looking like too much available for them. They are still behind. It is the T side for them, but they've now lost another play. You have to remember, this was just a force buy coming in. Already 2 rifles into the hands of the CTs. Happy is going to do the damage and actually open up this B side completely. The real person I'm looking at now is over towards Coldy. He's holding the flank, going to grab one, looking for the second. Way too slow to react on MBK. Doesn't realize where the shots are coming from. And now Happy, we spoke about him sort of opening up this round a little bit with the double kill he's found. He's going to have to find a quad kill, and he only has a MAC-10.
He might be able to find himself a rifle here. But even then, you have to talk about just how tough of a situation this may be. A name without substance, some would go even further than that, I'm sure. Because ultimately, this is not the EnVyUS we know and love. They are struggling so far on Cobblestone. Could be trying to make something happen. The back end going to be there to secure the work with the M4. Takes him down. And Spirit, they will make it to 13. This economy battle is backwards and forwards force-up. We said it wasn't over. I have a feeling at this point, surely EnVyUS must be having second thoughts about going straight back into this one, because their money is just not quite there. They're going to struggle to even get pistols secured.
Yeah, I think they will have a little bit on the board, the Tech 9s and armor. I think for them at this stage, really they don't have much of a choice. If they were to eco at this point, they're basically saying, okay, we've got to win every single round off the back of our buys, and already we've seen how that's not much of a plausible position to be in. Either way, it is the rifles back on the sides of the CT. And in terms of what's on the other side, it is mostly just those pistols, but we know that they can use them. Both teams have shown that so far at least, but it's been those buy rounds that have actually been very unreliable for the EnVyUS side. Either way, they are going to be playing this quick rotation game, sprinting around the map, moving that bomb left, right, and center, and just leaving Happy as this sort of lurk-style player at the moment, but already counter nades being thrown out by Spirit to try and make sure there's no way they can get themselves back into this scenario. And already, they are going to be making their push onto the site. Looking at Soplik, he's going to find the first, looking for a little bit more, grabs it with Coldy's help, and that's going to be already this round good and done. Happy's the last one left alive. He's managed to find one player on the other side, but no impact made by the other 4 pushing in onto the site, and that's going to be 14 rounds now for Spirit. 2 needed, and it's just going to force EnVyUS, well, into a force buy scenario.
It's the same narrative coming out every single time EnVyUS drop around. It's Happy, left isolated on his own in this huge clutch situation. But overall, it's just these big spray downs, these big positions for Spirit that they're making work. You see players like Dino, we're now seeing a bit more coming in from Sotvik. Overall, there really isn't a weak link on the Spirit side of things. They're all stepping up to the mark. This game is going to mean a hell of a lot to them. And when you walk into a series and go, we just took the first map in a BO3 off of EnVyUS, that's going to have a huge effect when you go into that second map.
Well, the scarier thing for me is it doesn't seem like there's a weak link on Spirit, but it doesn't seem like there's a strong one on the Envy side. We've seen Happy do some work trying to retake positions, and, well, Kenny had his moments with the AWP, but so far Kenny's yet to even frag on this second half. MBK had the nice round in the pistol. Other than that, we haven't seen anything too crazy either way, and, well, that's just a really scary prospect at the moment for this team. Not really looking good in any sort of aspect, and, well, they're doing a little bit of damage in this round at least. They've got Coldie down to 1 HP, but already with the 2-man disadvantage, it looks like we're just going to see the same force buy scenario for the rest of the half. Apex going to go very aggressive, trying to find a little bit more. Davkos is just too quick and takes his head clean off. Now we're just looking at the Deagles. Two players not really in the same sort of positions, moving their way over towards A. The angle being held. Nice shot by MBK with the pistol. Will give them a little bit of hope. Really looking to see that bomb now rotated over, and the one smoke they have will be thrown out to block off that door. Now it's down to this sort of position where things are a little bit more possible. The damage is available, but already we're going to see Dima on the rotation, and because that bomb has not been planted, it's now going to be left in the open for MBK to try and retake.
30 seconds to play with it. He's going to take down. He will find himself a frag. Takes down Dima. The one shred of hope they've got. Coldie, he's just 1 HP. Nearly getting caught out by the rear end of MBK, but it's not quite going to work out now. He's making sure he secures the bomb plot. That should be the most important factor. Tries to bait a response, but unfortunately MBK, you might try and bait. That's going to work out in their favour. Davkos, he will hit the shot with the AWP. He is just not going to be missing. That means the Spirit, they've now got themselves on their first map point. EnVyUS, on the other hand, they're still stuck at 6. And well, there really is no surprise we're going straight back into this force-up train. EnVyUS, they've tried to make it stick before. It just doesn't look it's working.
Yeah, they're doing damage. That definitely is something that they could say. And if it was the first half and it was a much closer scenario, then maybe these force buys would be more viable. But the problem is they're forcing out of necessity. They're going to use these flashbangs to go very aggressive. Kenny will get himself onto the board, finding the first frag of this round. But already we're seeing Sopvik and Dima trade things back. Sopvik going to grab another one. This leaves just a couple of players left. MBK opening things up once again, leaving things a little bit closer. But now it's all on Apex. He's going aggressive. Davkos there to trade, and a 16-6 map 1 on the pick of Envy.
Just absolutely demolished. Take a look at the map best players. There really is no surprise to see. The one nice factor is that MBK is kind of this one solitary member of EnVyUS. But overall, Dima just unstoppable in that game.
8
the aggression.
Entry frags.
No one was able to hold him back. We saw the 1.5 KD practically following suit, just identical coming in from Davkos and Dima. Both players really having their own little performances. Kabakan, he was there to secure the most kind of important impact frags from behind. We saw a couple of nice performances coming in from Coldie every now and then. Most importantly on these force-up rounds where he had an impact with maybe 2 or 3 frags. MBK, he was there at times, but he still struggled to have a performance. Overall, Envy, they look very dismantled, very segmented. There was no cohesion. The team play just wasn't quite there, and it does present these worrying prospects of what could take place on the second map.
Well, the scary thing for me is, so that was their map pick. Now we're going on to Mirage, which is not one that they're as confident on as Cobble. Cash, it will be the third map, so if they can get through this one, then there's still hope. But all we can really do now is say, can they come back on Mirage? And we'll be able to tell you shortly after the break.